So you got the opulence on deck?
Of course I do.
Well, I don't drink alcohol, but I do sip tea. So
Okay.
cheers. Yes, yes, yes. So, raindrops, we are here with the beautiful, the stunning, the intelligent, the doctor is in the building. Give it up, y'all, for Dr. Latoya Thompson. How are you, baby?
Good. I'm really good. I am. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Let me ask you this. Are you now have you been accepting? That's the word. Have you now accepted that you are on television and that you're low key like famous and all that stuff?
I wouldn't say famous, but I mean, yeah, I'm accepting it because I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, people are recognizing me, so that is, yeah, it's different for me, but I'm accepting of it. It's a lot, but I'm okay.
Now, how has your husband accepted it?
Oh, he's good. Y'all know he good. He's always okay. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, okay.
When you're at work doing your doctor thing, honey,
Mhm.
do people like say stuff? Like has it interfered with your work? Not like you're doing your job, but like just people knowing it while you're at work.
Yeah, it's different because people are like, wait a minute, they'll walk by because I'm not in the clinic every day. And they'll walk by like, I know you. I'm like, you know me from where? And it's interesting because everyone has their opinions and people want to fight and stuff. And I'm like, y'all need to calm down. Okay. But yeah, it's different because they don't see me all glammed up at work. I usually got my hair back and I'm in sweats and whatnot. So they always do a double take. And I've gotten my pictures on the wall because I'm a manager. And some of my colleagues are, there are people taking pictures of your picture. I'm like, that's weird. That's very weird. Yeah, people have asked me to take pictures, so it's different, definitely different.
Well, like I said, honey, you're famous. So there you go. That's
I
what
haven't
happens when
accepted
you're
that
famous. So let's get into the show. So before we get into tonight's episode, I want to talk about first how you got on Love and Marriage Detroit. So one of the things that I found so fascinating is your husband said to me that obviously we know the whole story about him going to Atlanta,
yet.
working for Marvel and DC and all those things, and courtesy of you wanting him to come back home, dealing with what the kids were going through in school, that when Love and Marriage Detroit came about, when we contacted y'all, were interested, he said to me that he was like, now look, baby, you owe me this. We got to do this. So talk to me about how it came to you and what the conversation was like with your husband.
So he had told me that he was contacted by OWN. I'm like, oh, okay, like what is that about? And he was like, it's about marriage, love, marriage. I'm like, oh, because I was thinking, like, oh, Black love. Okay, yeah, I like that documentary. So that's more my speed. And he was like, no, no, it's reality. I'm like, excuse me. I watch a lot of reality, but I was like, that's just not me. And he's like, but I think this will be good, all this and that. And I'm like, I gotta think, pray, do a lot. I don't know yet, dear. And he did. He was like, yeah, this is something I want to do. And like I feel like, this is owed to me because of, the whole Atlanta situation. And I mean, we've definitely worked through that whole Atlanta thing, but it was always about, for me, it was like, I still felt that he resented me when it came to that. So a part of me was like, yeah, I kind of do owe him this because this is something that he really desires. And I don't want to ever want him to feel like I don't support him. And, we've gone through that whole thing about, what is support to him. And I want him to realize that I do. And so I was just like, okay, I finally gave after talking to everyone, the producers, and talking with my family and whatnot. And, we said yes. And every day, I did quit every day. And I told him, and I told your producers that I quit. But, I think I told you too. Like it did. Honestly, people always say that it tears families apart, all that great stuff, but it did help us really do communicate better. It really did. And, I can see things in his light, especially from the production side. This is not my lane. I am when it comes to medicine, black and white, this is what it is. But, it allowed me to see his perspective and how this world works. And yeah, I'm a very timely person, structured, things of that nature. And when things don't go that way, I can get a little flustered. So he allowed me to, grow in this. And every time he's like, if you don't want to, I'm still gonna do it. But if you don't want to, then let's talk through that. I don't want you to feel forced either. So yeah, it's still been an experience. So
yeah, the thing about it is it's still new. It's only been a few months since the show has aired.
Mm-hmm.
You're now experiencing what it's like being on a reality show because you would watch it, right? And I'm pretty sure you would watch it and form your own opinion and talk to your girlfriend like, girl, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Now that is happening to you, let me ask you this. Do you now see things differently being on the other side? Like, are you more gracious to other reality stars like you would have watched before?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because we don't have any say so in the outcome or how things are put together, or even, the cutting, the stopping and starting, and let's look at it from this perspective and tell me how you feel about this. So yeah, it's a lot that goes into it. Yes, it's reality, but there is a whole nother realm there. And then, again, I can't control the outcome. I can control me, but I can't control how it's necessarily put together or what others are saying. And so I think that aspect, and now seeing like confessionals and things of that nature, it gives you another perspective. And so it's like, oh, that's how you really felt. So it's different. So I definitely understand how these other reality TV stars feel, the ups and the downs. So, and the opinion of everyone, I think is, for me, could be a lot. And the great thing I love about Anthony is, he can care less. He really can care less about what everyone else is necessarily saying. He's very firm on how he feels and how I feel and how we feel and what that means in our family and people that know us. These people that don't know you, it's like, okay, why do you care? But you care some. I feel like people care. They care.
The thing that I know for sure is in the beginning, you definitely care. And you read everything, and it stops you dead in your tracks. And let's have a conversation. When you read a negative comment, it does something to you, right?
Oh yeah.
And then, although you're told like, who cares? Don't read it. You still read more, and you read more, and then you walk away feeling bad about yourself. You walk away questioning you. I can't believe people think this about me. This could be further from the truth. Right? Is that something you're going through right now?
I definitely don't read comments because I know how I am. I know how I protect my peace at all costs. And people can just be mean, and people can have I think I care more about what is being said by those that are around me that I know. I think those things I carry more weight than somebody I don't know. So I don't necessarily read the comments because it did initially when I was looking at them like, why do they feel that way? Like what? I can see certain things, but then especially based on how it was put together, but I'm like, I was there. like that's not how it really happened, or that's not what was meant, or all of those emotions come out. But I have gotten to the point at this point. Where are we at? Episode 7, 8? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not reading the comments because I think it's better for me not to. Because I'm not about to be I'm not about to be arguing with nobody online. I just sometimes, I'd be like, I got time today because I'm not the one. And I think people can tell that I may be quiet, but I'm not the one. Please don't. Like, I don't know you yet.
They'll see that at the upcoming reunion. You're not the one, and you're definitely not quiet, Dr. LaToya, honey. Speaking of comments, your husband is the talk of the town when it comes to this show. People have very strong opinions about Anthony. There was a poll that people started on Twitter that I was having fun with about who the HBIC of Love and Marriage Detroit is. The fans love the show that much. And it was neck and neck between Brandon and Anthony, which I think is so funny because I'm like, they're like, it's Brandon or Anthony. But that's funny. People have crazy things to say about Anthony. He's sassy. He's a bitch. He talks down to his wife. His wife needs to stand up for herself. He's malicious. He's shady. He's messy. Is it difficult for you to hear / read those comments when it comes to your husband?
Well, yeah. Like, he's my better half. Like, he is anything that, and I think that's why certain things that people say get to me, because it's that he's an extension of me, and for even that he doesn't care, I care. And because I know him, I'm like, everybody that know Anthony, like, he gonna be very 100. He's going to tell it how it is. And he's very clear. If there's an issue, like, let's talk, let's have the people there, let's get this together. But things that the way things have been put together, it will make it seem like, oh, I don't talk, I'm weak or anything like that. And that's not the case. Me and him have a very good relationship. And, we have evolved together. We have learned each other, and we're still evolving. It's going to be times that I don't like things that he says. There's times he doesn't like what I say, or things that I do. But, we have learned how to communicate with one another and make sure that, we are hearing each other. There's times in the beginning of our marriage, for sure, it's like, you're not understanding me, but it's just that we think differently and we communicate differently. And I think that's okay. So people can say what they want. That's fine. But there'll be no show without him. So let's be real. As he sips, I'll sip too. Stop.
I told y'all twice.
No, you keep on saying that I'd be shady. I don't be shady.
Look,
you said I would have shady comments.
Let me tell you something. This is why I think it's fun when people are like, oh, she's quiet. I'm like, are we watching the same show? This is the thing about you. And the reason why I love this show so much is because not everybody has to be loud or aggressive in order to be heard or seen. And I think the beauty of you is you're able to speak your mind without having to yell across the room. And it doesn't make you quiet or weak. It makes you somebody where this is my personality and my disposition. One of my favorite moments of you taking up for yourself, and I saw a little neck roll, and I was like, at Michigan State, honey, is when after your wine event, you were in the car and Anthony was on the driver's side outside talking to you. And he's like, yeah, because I invested in this. And you was like, I did too. Like, it's twisted. What you're not gonna do is tell the world that you were a sole investor in my company. Like, we both did it. Stop it. My favorite moment goes to show you that Miss Thing does take up for herself. But what do you think, if you're able to dispute any comment that you may have read or heard, what's the one thing you want people to know about you, that this is really who I am, and what you guys said about me here is wrong?
Um, I think the biggest thing that is really being said a lot recently is the whole I'm just taking Kolby's side. I'm a bandwagoner. That was said by Kristina. That's been said by Kristina and Brandon. And, and that I, you know, don't necessarily, I just insert myself into situations and don't have a role in all of this. Like it doesn't involve me. Actually, I think I got a few actually. With that, I mean, one, I always line myself up with the truth. I line myself up with what's right. There's no way that I was trying to take one side or anything like that. I just thought that, it's Kolby looking like this is my girl and I got nothing to say. And Brandon is calling her these names and all that great stuff. So I didn't feel like we were necessarily taking their side or I was taking Kolby's side. I felt bad, period. And then for me to be inserting myself into situations, let's be real, we on a show. We're paid to talk to one another and to be involved in each other's stuff. So I'm not inserting myself. And I'm sitting there. So you involved me. How about that? You involved me. If I'm there, it's two people, I'm sitting in the middle, I'm involved. It's not insertion. Maybe we should look up that definition. But
Freedom, doctor, honey. Yes. Go ahead, child.
It irritates me. Like, either I am being, taking sides, I'm inserting myself, but then I'm quiet. Okay, what y'all want to do? What y'all want me to be? I don't know. The other thing that I think really kind of really hit home to me is that you have all these people online. She's not even a real doctor, or even Kristina saying, questioning my degree or my intelligence. Like I felt like that was the utmost disrespect. I have never questioned Kristina's level of education. She doesn't have a degree. I have never said anything about that. And she even said we even filmed about her intimidation of people with degrees. And I asked her why. Like, why be intimidated by people that have degrees? What God has for you is what He has for you.
Amen.
So not everybody got to go to school. Like, there's plenty of people doing it that don't have a degree. So for you to question how I view the world because I've been trained in this area to be observant, that's my expertise. That's what get paid to do. People pay to see me to observe how they're doing and then fix the problem. So when I say that I don't like how, what you're doing is not matching what you're saying, I'm just saying I see you. I see how you are. I am very observant. And so I was very bothered by that and I felt disrespected. But then too, for people that don't know, a doctoral degree, I paid for it, and physical therapy is real. It is an actual degree. And I spent 8 years doing it. So I am a true doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. And I never said I was a medical doctor. I have the right to say Dr. Latoya Thompson, sports specialist. So it's kind of irritating for people to say that, like, you're questioning my degree, and it's like, you don't even know me. You have no idea. No one has ever said, oh, because you have a doctorate in pharmacy, you're not a doctor, or you have a doctorate in chiropractic, you're not a doctor. So it's like, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't have an MD behind my name, but no one ever said I did. So I had to address that because it's like, why? Like, why does that irritate you?
That bothers me because it discredits the work you did to achieve it, right? There's different degrees of doctors, no pun intended. There's doctors of education. When you think about doctors who are educators and professors at college, they're not a medical doctor, but at the end of the day, they're a doctor. They went to school for 8 years to get this degree. And because they work so hard to get it, they have the right to use that DR in front of their name, which is why I love the fact that your husband constantly refers to you as Dr.
Always. And I am very I used to be very Anthony, we be at home. He's called me Dr. Thompson. The kids call me Dr. Thompson. I said, kid, we not like it's Toya, it's mommy. But like he was like, no, they're gonna put respect on your name. I get it, babe. I love that about him. And he's very like people will come up to me, especially like at church. They'll say, I got this problem. He like, where's your insurance card? I love him for that. I love it. You know, and he's made me be more proud of where I, you know, what I do. I'm very humble when it comes to that. But he's like, no, like you worked hard for it. Like, make sure people know that. I'm like, okay.
Absolutely. So I listen, but it goes to show you, which is why I'm happy you now are like, I ain't got time for some of these negative comments, is because no one should discredit a doctorate degree of any form.
Period.
And to even having to address it is even to me. I don't have a degree. I tell people all the time, I dropped out my junior year and said, I have a job in the business. I'm not for penny in this crazy ass geology class. I'm done because I want to be a producer and I don't need to know nothing about geology or geometry. I'm out. You best to believe.
Right.
I'm not intimidated by anybody that has a degree. So I appreciate us having that level of conversation because listen, you may not like what I said or you may disagree with me, but don't discredit the work that I've done to be who I am. And last but not least, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox, can't sit up and say, you know, we support Black women being entrepreneurs and being business women and doctors and lawyers and all that when you want to discredit me by saying, well, girl, you ain't no medical doctor. It's like, that's crazy. I'm not going to give that any more light because that just sounds crazy. So moving on from that, going back to Anthony being supportive of you, obviously you both are from Detroit. One of the things that you don't know that I never told you, I know people who went to college with y'all.
Oh, really?
Yes, went to Michigan State. And they said that you two are the same now that you're in college. They said LaToya was always in the books.
I was.
Always. They said she was always in the books. They say Anthony was always Anthony, the little, you know, like he was always like the mouthpiece. They all said that you were very, very serious about your education. That
I was
looking from you. They also said, I didn't know this. I was told you have a twin sister.
Yes, I'm telling why. Even some of the producers is like, I'm like, I told you that on the first day. Yes, I did.
I was told you have a twin sister and not only a twin, identical.
We are identical. We do not look alike, but yes, I do. Yeah, and she is totally not for. She is not totally for skinny. She don't want to be on TV.
But she was. I want to see.
I know. I tried. She was like, no, absolutely not. Now my little sister, I have a little sister too, who is 11 years younger than me. She's for it, but my twin, she is not. My little sister is a lawyer. My twin sister is in IT, and yeah, she is. She's not for the games.
Your parents, honey. Shout out to your mom and dad. Yeah. Wait, so we have a doctor, a lawyer, and an IT.
She does like, I don't know, she like a professional hacker. I don't know.
Well, I like you, sis. Don't hack my stuff, honey. She worked for the parents. Oh yeah, no, that's amazing. Yes. I love that. Okay, so going back to the scene. So last week, at the Shut Up and Pray event, social media went crazy when it came to you and Kristina's conversation.
Of course they did.
I watched that scene, Dr. Thompson, at least a dozen times. Because I'm gonna tell you why. If people know this about me, I like comedy more than drama. I love comedy. And I loved it because nobody's voice was raised. I even said, this is the best church girl conversation in the world. Because to me, it was so nice and nasty. It was like, it's a lot of, well, I loved it. I loved it. In that moment, like you said, you're on a TV show, like, newsflash, I got to talk about things if I'm in the room and I'm on the show with these people. Like, I can't ignore them if I wanted to. We got to talk about these things. So you wanted to address it. You guys did address it. Were you surprised at Kristina's disposition during that conversation? Or did you feel like she would be more receptive to it?
I don't think I'm surprised. I wasn't surprised. I don't think I was surprised at all because I felt like I saw how she responded to others. So I was like, okay, so I got to address this. But the whole you're being snarky when she sounds snarky, like, how am I being snarky? I'm just asking you a question. No, I wasn't surprised by how she was. I was irritated because it's like, oh, you're trying to shut me down. You're not listening to what I have to say. She like was over talking, and I'm like, all I'm doing is telling you why I have an issue. You'll rather talk in person. So I'm here talking to you in person about something that involves my husband. And I'm sorry, it involves me. You mentioned his name and our publicist and all that great stuff. Like, it involves, I can insert myself in that situation. I don't care. And if you don't like it, that's too bad. So, I mean, I wasn't too surprised on how she responded at all, actually, because I've seen it.
When people say you are Team Kolby, what is your response to that?
I don't think I'm necessary. And that's everybody kept saying that, I am being a bandwagoner, all this and that. Again, I align myself with the truth. I align myself with what's right in my eyes. I don't necessarily, and I said the same thing to Kolby that I said to Kristina about them talking and things of that nature. It just necessarily wasn't filmed. So it may look like that, oh, I'm taking Kolby's side, but I had the same conversation with Kolby. Like, y'all need to talk. Y'all need to figure this out. It wasn't that I was just trying to say, hey, Kristina, you're wrong. There were some things that, yeah, you did wrong that I felt was wrong in my eyes. And that's my opinion. It's about accountability. And she hasn't said anything about being accountable for, yeah, maybe I should have said this, even though I did want to speak in person. I should have expressed this to you. She's never acknowledged that. It's just, you get loud at me and being mad at me about something that's going on. And that's all I was saying. That's the area that I am aligning with, not necessarily just Kolby, but I felt bad, honestly, for both of them. But I felt bad for Kolby because, one, we want to say age, but she is younger. And maybe, Kristina, you do have a little bit more experience with relationships and friendships and how to navigate them. At least I would think you would. And so that's something that you can, maybe be the bigger person sometimes. And sometimes Kolby can be the bigger person. But in this situation, I thought, well, maybe y'all can express these things. You guys are close. You were close before all of this TV stuff. And now look at what's happening. And it just wasn't cool.
Tonight's episode, we saw you guys take a trip where you and Anthony were hosting it. And then we get into the dinner scene and Brittany, the publicist, comes up. And a phone call happens. You're very close to Brittany. Brittany, in tonight's episode, denied she'd ever said anything. We won't give away what happens at the reunion, but when it comes to these allegations of he said, she said, we don't mess with you, we don't mess with her, I don't want to work with her, blah, 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 I don't want to work with him. You've known Brittany for a long time. Where do you stand in this situation? Do you strongly believe that Brittany is 100% telling the truth?
I do believe she's telling the truth, just simply because of conversations that were had. I wasn't involved in these conversations, but about BayBEE and, Brandon and Kristina and things of that nature prior to all of this. So I do believe she's telling the truth. If anybody, I know Anthony. I don't think that Anthony would just lie repeatedly about the same. His story has been consistent the entire time. And then especially the whole, the Harrises, like, it was point blank period right there on the scene that she inserted the Harrises, and Brittany blatantly said that they were not involved in all that. And I know Anthony didn't. He wouldn't have a reason to. And even with Brent, it's not a reason. Like, they were calling Anthony messy when it came to this, but I think some people don't understand, true friendship. And, I mean, honestly, how people in the city kind of roll. Like, we're friends. And it wasn't to be like trying to sabotage a relationship. He's just saying, hey, they don't really rock with you, or Brandon doesn't really rock with you like that. So, just giving you a heads up. It wasn't like, don't work with them. Be gonna work with whoever she wants to. And that's another thing. I'm sorry. We didn't sabotage any relationship. That's allegations that's going around from Brandon and Kristina, that we sabotaged that relationship with Brittany. And that's not true. Not true at all. We will work with who she wants to. We don't dictate any of that. But because of the situation, if y'all want to work with her, you can work with her. That never was an issue. We're not trying to keep money out of nobody's pocket. We want people to be is great. That's why I hired her. So do you like that's not? I'm sorry.
Is she still your publicist?
Yeah, for Opulence, yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's, if you want to work with her, work with her. That don't got nothing to do with us at all.
Well, child, like I said, we get more into that at the reunion, and we have 2 more episodes to go before the reunion. We are going to see in next week's episode, part 2 of what's going on with the men and more of the trip. And let's just say for the finale, some surprise appearances occur at a showcase. We get to see a man's movement with Marceau. So we have a lot more in store. And I do want to say this. I am very proud that you are the first doctor to be a part of the Love Marriage franchise. So you are great herstory, honey. Okay. And I'm so happy you said yes, because you bring so much, validity and balance and story to the show. And it really showcases itself within the material of these episodes, which is why people love it. They talk about it. They talk about you, child. They talk about me. They talk about everybody. Because all of it is that we know when they ain't talking about you, sis, that's when you need to worry. Okay?
And guess what? Just like you, Opulence is going right to the bank. So, yeah, keep talking. That's great. Opulence is doing wonderful. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, let the world know, my love, where can they buy Opulence? Because I'm happy to hear that it's doing well, but where can they purchase it, buy it, all those things?
So if you're not in Michigan, opulencewine.com. It will ship from Napa. And there are some codes on there. So if you want to get a discount, you can get a discount. But if you're in Michigan, I actually just secured Meyer. So it will be in Meyer.
That's big.
Yeah. It took me a while, but we got it. Finally got it. So I'm excited about that. So Meyer, Rivertown, in Detroit will have Opulence on the shelves. House Pure Vin, there are several. They'll be listed on the website and on Instagram. So follow us on Opulence Wine and go to opulencewine.com to get you a bottle. You need some.
Yes. Well, Dr. LaToya Thompson, I'm so proud of you. And again, I do mean this, and I mean it too, but I'm really happy you guys did the show. I can't imagine a Love and Marriage Detroit without the two of you. And like I said, you guys bring so much enjoyment, entertainment, education. Okay.
Thank you.
And it's the reason why it's a hit. So everybody, make sure you watch Love and Marriage Detroit every Saturday, 8:00, 7 Central on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And opulencewine.com is where you can go to purchase the wine. LaToya, we got the reunion coming up. Before I let you go, what's one word you would use to describe the reunion?
One word?
Just one.
interesting. Interesting. I would say interesting if I can only use one.
Well, they have to wait and see what happens. Dr. Latoya, thank you for coming on Reality with the King. I love. Tell Anthony and the kids I said hi. And my sweet tea, I'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.